You want to know why I'm confident that the game went well? It's because every single one of those girls have been excited for the game, period. And the actions of the last session increased their excitement, not decreased it, across the fucking board. Oh, and I see people are talking about, you know, what happened yesterday, or 2 days ago, in Otikata's curse. So I have something planned, because I had always had something planned for in case that very scenario occurred. I will be honest that it happened earlier than I had intended, but it doesn't really matter, because it's the introduction into River's, like, story, like, backstory, which is, it's actually kind of, it's kind of poetic that it's her that we get to go through. So I have a bonus session planned when I get back with her, which will happen outside the normal game in order to save time. So, and it's going to be fucking awesome. Will it be streamed? Yeah, I'm going to stream it. Also, a lore video is about to be released on the YouTube. An intro to Glaeus that is narrated by a lore master, Kana, of the community. So that's something you guys get to look forward to. I've already watched it. She did a very good job. I know and appreciate you're busy. Please go back and watch last Friday's game with open eyes. Thank you in advance. The hell is that supposed to mean? If you must know, I go back through every game and I watch to make sure I didn't miss anything. I will tell you that if... Look, man. More often than not, when I go back to make sure that nothing was missed, the things that are missed are always in the player's favor anyway. So, we'll see, but if it drops, it drops. But I already have shit planned anyway, so. I love your new haircut. Thanks, Haruka. So each of the girls has an important backstory relevant or plot related to the campaign. Both of those things. Yeah, that's why we had 3 session zeros, so that we could go over game mechanics, so that we could, you know, go over all of their characters' individualistic storylines. You know, all that good stuff. There were 3 session zeros. You only watched 2. That's because one of them wasn't streamed, because that's where we did all the backstory stuff, and we didn't want that spoiled. I'll tell you one thing. The girls are activated from last session. Last session, fucking, they were ready, dude. They've been doing is talking about how excited they are for the next game. They've been studying up on, like, you know, action economy and everything. People have been helping them. I do feel kind of bad that I just haven't had as much time as I'd like to sit down and teach each of them. Like, I have to do everything in the game, like, in the moment, you know? And sometimes when I'm also trying to build story and slow burn stuff, you know, some things slip by. Especially since we use macros. I don't teach them the basic steps of what, you know, how a die roll modifier that, because I try not to overwhelm them. I try to teach them only things they absolutely need to know. I do think that maybe that was a mistake this time, but I'm always experimenting, and sometimes, you know, you experiment and it doesn't work, so. What do you think about the fact that some people think the boss fight was too hard for the group? I think they're wrong, because if it was too hard for the group, then they wouldn't have won. Like, look, what people need to understand is it's like, if you design a fight to be hard, and they have bad luck, characters can die. It's very difficult to actually die in 5th edition, and it happened. It happened because die rolls determine, like, if you took every single die roll in that fight, yeah, and you evened it out to 10, or, you know, just to 10, right? Or even 11. They win the fight. They just do. So it's like, I don't pay mind to those people because, see, here's the thing, man. There are people that'll say, oh, I coddle players too much. Nobody's ever died on a stream game. You know, oh, he wouldn't do that to his source of his income, you know, because it's a show and he would never stop it. It's not real. It's smoke and mirrors. It's not real illusion. You know, blah, 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 you know. And then there are people that would be like, oh, that's way too hard. I can't believe he threw that against them. Blah, 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 you know. My methodology is constantly shifting as I'm trying to find the best way to do things. But make no mistake, the reason that I don't coddle them because I treat them with respect. That's why those things happened. Okay? Are they new players? Yes. They are new players. That doesn't mean they won't get it. That doesn't mean they can't win. And that most certainly means that they're not ready. Now, granted, I would have preferred them fight another Mistwalker. One that was a little less intensive. And then I could have taught them additional rules. But part of the cost of running a living, breathing, persistent world is that it exists despite them. And that means that I'm not going to sacrifice the integrity of the story to make sure they survive and succeed, because that's not the point. Because if I did that, then I would invalidate their success. Simple as that. They went into that cave, so they fought the stronger one. Now, they're going to get rewarded for fighting the stronger one. Make no mistake. We just didn't have time to get to that part because the fight takes a long time. And I have things planned for River, which was something that was already planned, like, since we started the campaign. And now, as soon as we do this bonus session, people are like, Arcadum won't really do anything. Blah, 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 blah. You know, they'll have their opinions, and they'll think like, oh, he's not actually going to do it. Oh, blah, blah, blah. He's blah, blah, blah. You know, I don't care about what they think. All right? I have the story, and I'm going to tell it, and if they don't like it, they don't have to watch. They want to go to Reddit or 4chan and spout off some things how they think they know what the hell they're talking about, then let them. Because something that I've learned is that those people are just going to do that anyway. It's not going to matter. It doesn't matter how good the game is. You want to know why I'm confident that the game went well? It's because every single one of those girls have been excited for the game, period. And the actions of the last session increased their excitement, not decreased it, across the fucking board. So, the only people who opinions matter on the game are those girls. None of yours. Any of you. Nobody on Reddit, 4chan. Don't care. Sorry. Doesn't matter to me. And anybody who thinks that, oh, he wouldn't kill a character because his livelihood's gone, then they haven't been paying attention, because I didn't do any of this shit to be famous or rich, because I don't care. I am perfectly fine surviving off a medium nothing income because I did it my entire life growing up. I don't need anything. So I do this. I care only about this and whether or not they have fun. So to anybody that's like, oh, he's going to do this or that, well, you can keep spouting that nonsense, but give them this clip. Clip this and send it to them. 4chan, Reddit, let them read that, and then let them react to that. But this is what the truth is. And I don't care if you believe me or not, because whether or not you believe me is irrelevant of the truth. So, isn't her being dead wasting a lot of time into planning things for her character? That's the risk you take. If death wasn't possible, then the game wouldn't have stakes. At the same time, there are things that exist in the world that revolve around death. It's already written down. It's lore that exists. It's not me pulling some shit out of my ass to, like, make sure a character doesn't die or some shit. And I'm not even saying that that's what's going to happen. See, it's people that lack the knowledge spouting off what they believe is happening, and they're just wrong because they don't have the knowledge. Or they come at it specifically from a argumentative, like, damnation standpoint or whatever, you know? But I would much rather have realistic consequences to things that happen and risk losing work. I've been doing that forever. The content you guys see is like 10-15% of what's prepared. All the rest of it never gets seen, and it just gets stored away in here or like in a folder somewhere in case I ever need it again. I should have asked, but how do you feel about some of them hiring a coach to teach them about combat? If I felt anything about that, it would be, I guess, guilt that I didn't have the time to do it, or I didn't do it properly, I guess. But there's a lot to the game, and if that's not a negative thing, you know? It's not. They have the downtime, and they want to spend it learning more about the game itself. And there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, what am I going to do? Get mad at them for wanting to learn more about D&D? Like, you know, I've taught them about things as they go along. And if they want more help, then they want more help. They want to study all the different subclasses and things like that. Like, most of the time when I'm dealing with new players, I just ask them, what sounds cool to you? And then I just walk them through it that way because it's the faster and more efficient way for us to get to playing. But if they want to get into the nitty-gritty of it, they want to learn the deep mechanics, and they want to, like, figure out why the things work the way they do, then good on them.